Heroes Foundation, and the foundation built this memorial and manages the flag program of the flags you see here in town today. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So before we start the ceremony, we have a very distinguished World War II Army veteran here, Bob Maxwell. Bob Maxwell is one of 15 Medal of Honor recipients living in our great nation. Chief Sale, our new police chief here in Bend, will place the Medal of Honor on Mr. Maxwell. Eric? So I'd like to introduce some of our dignitaries today. Police Chief Sale, you just met. Tom Green, City Councilor, also an Air Force veteran. Jody Barham, City Councilor. Master Chief Terry back here manages in the Mountain View High School ROTC program, Navy ROTC, and they'll be posting the colors for us today. Bob Maxwell is one of the directors of the foundation. Eric Tobiasen over here is the vice president, and Leanne Denny is right here as the secretary. Those are the folks that brought this facility to you. Battalion Commander Madden is where? Fire Chief over Fire Department. You're the ranking representative today, sir. And Police Chief we got here. And you've got uniformed first responders here. Of course, you know why they're here, because they lost so many of their friends and compatriots and brothers and sisters at the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Steve Esselstyn, where's Steve? Steve right here is the Community Relations Director for the Police Department and a member of the team that designed this project. With him is Dan Durlacki, representing the Fire Department, and he's the other member of the first responders that helped us design particularly this monument right here to first responders. When we're through, please take time to look at all of these facilities. Cody Eggleston over here is representing Representative Greg Walden. Put your hand up there, Cody. Also a veteran, and Representative Walden was here to help us dedicate this facility almost 2 years ago on a very cold day. Dave Howe, we've got two bagpipers down here. We're going to have a third one, Dave and Tim, back here. And a third one is coming. Well, thank you for playing the warm-up music, Dave. And Jeff Briggs, where's Jeff? Jeff is back there. He'll be playing taps for us. And Jess Cordoni, where's Jess? Jess is our chaplain. He'll be giving us a short message. We have some of the family members and parents of some of the veterans that we've lost since 9/11. Jerry and Ramona Newman are here. Are the McBrides here? Okay. So let's start by posting the colors. Is everybody in close enough where you can see everything? Okay. The colors will be posted right here.
Forward, her. Color guard, ho! Have haze. Haze and colors.
Two. Mr. Maxwell will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two. Steve and Dan, would you lower the flag to half-staff, please? Today, if you have a flag, it should be half-staff from sunrise this morning until sunset tonight. And because the flag is being lowered to half-staff, no other flag can be higher, right? So we've reduced the height of all the other military service flags and the fire and police flags. Thank you. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the flags we have here today in these monuments. The flags on this bridge on the right side, the upstream side, are 14 in number. The first four are the veterans from Ben who lost their lives in Iraq. Their first four. So you can go up and look at those flags. They have the names. Every flag has a name on it. Randy Newman, Jessica Ellis, Zachary McBride, and Aaron Klingman. The next 10 flags are veterans from Randy Newman's unit who were either killed or wounded in Iraq. Those are 14 that lost their lives since 9/11. We're not here just to celebrate and honor 9/11. We're also here to honor those who lost their lives after 9/11. On the other side of the bridge are flags from veterans groups and veterans from Central Oregon who lost their lives. Tommy Tucker from Madras, Dale Peterson and Cody Eggleston from Redmond, Butch Hammer from Redmond, Deborah Klecker has her name on this monument here. She was a civilian contractor in Iraq for the State Department, working with the Iraqi Police Department. She was killed by a bomb over there, as was Jessica. On this monument here are the four veterans from Ben who lost their lives since 9/11. They have their flags there. We also have flags to put up at Honor Court down by Goody's Ice Cream. Also on this sidewalk, there's a monument here for Randy Newman, and there's another one up a little further, and that sidewalk is the Randy Newman Memorial Sidewalk. Lance Corporal Randy Newman, USMC Memorial Sidewalk. And if you look at this monument over here, these are the names of four Ben veterans who lost their lives since 1938 in the line of duty. And of course, Deborah Klecker is the one from Iraq. At this point, Bob and Steve, would you flip this over? So here we have a flag that was designed a year after 9/11 that contains the names of 3,000 victims, innocent victims of an unprovoked attack on the United States, just like Pearl Harbor. And it's about the same magnitude, just about 3,000. 2,977 names are on this flag. And after the ceremony, we'll take that flag off and put it over here in a permanent display. But if you look at it, American Flight 11, North Tower, World Trade Center, 10 years ago today. American 77, the Pentagon. United 175, the second tower. From here on down, World Trade Center, from here on down are the names of all the people lost in the World Trade Center. 90% of all the victims in 9/11 were at the World Trade Center. The rest, 10%, were in the airlines and the Pentagon. 2,977 names there. Underneath is a little break statistical back data on who they were. 2,349 civilians at the World Trade Center. 343 New York Fire Department firefighters. 23 New York police officers. 37 Port Authority. The Pentagon, 125 civilians and military. 70 civilians, 55 military. On the four airlines, 253 passengers and crew members. Today is not only 9/11, but it's also the National Day of Service and Remembrance. And this whole month was just declared by the President 2 days ago as the National Preparedness Month, actually about a week ago. I'd like the city councilors to read the mayor's proclamation for today. Tom Green and Jody Barham, thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the City of Bend and the citizens of Bend, we want to present and read this proclamation. At Wednesday night's meeting, we had a real nice talk by Mr. Maxwell on the power of, if we don't remember, we're doomed to live things again. And so that's why we're all gathered here as this nation is to remember this. Our mayor's out of town, so he couldn't be here. So Councilor Barham and I will read this proclamation. A national movement of remembrance of the 10th anniversary of September 11th, whereas the City of Bend expresses its support of the United States Senate effort for coming together as a nation and ceasing all work or other activity for a moment of remembrance beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on September 11th, 2011, in observance of the 10th anniversary of the terrorist attacks committed against the United States on September 11th, 2001, and whereas at 8:46 a.m. on September 11th, 2001, hijacked American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the upper portion of the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City, New York. 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., hijacked United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center, and at 9:37 a.m., the west wall of the Pentagon was hit by hijacked American Flight 77. The impact of which caused immediate and catastrophic damages to the headquarters of the Departments of Defense. Whereas at approximately 10 a.m., the passengers and crew of hijacked Airlines Flight 93 acted heroically to retake the control of the airplane and thwart the taking of additional American lives by crashing their airliner at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and doing so gave their lives to save countless others. And
whereas nearly 3,000 innocent civilians were killed in the heinous attacks of September 11, 2001, and whereas countless fire departments, police departments, first responders, government officials, workers, emergency medical personnel, and volunteers responded immediately and heroically to those horrific events, and whereas the lives of Americans were changed forever on September 11, 2001, when events threatened the American way of life, therefore be it resolved that the City of Bend encourages the observance of the moment of remembrance to last for 1 minute, beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight, to the maximum extent practicable by ceasing all work or other activity and marking the moment in an appropriate manner, including by ringing bells and flying the flag at half-mast from sunrise to sundown.
Thank you. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. I'd like to introduce Jess Cordoni. He's a chaplain with the Central Oregon Police Chaplaincy.
Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, we have to meet like this on such an occasion, but feel honored that we can pay homage to those that gave their lives for our country. Our good Lord, we stand here before this memorial paying homage to the men and women who died this date, September 11th, 2001. The Twin Towers, the Pentagon, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, We are reminded to those who gave so much to rescue people who were in harm's way. On that day, God took 2,977, took them to heaven. They were first responders. They were good people from all over the world, and they were ordinary citizens trying to help their fellow man. Our police and firemen walked into the jaws of hell to help people they had sworn to protect. All were duty bound. Bob Dent of Constable Memorial Foundation has allowed me to use this with his permission. Heroism welcomes the instinct for self-survival. Mighty words for one sentence. Heroism overwhelms the instinct for self-survival. With that said, I would like to read a portion of a poem from The Heroes by Roger W. Hancock, a patriot and poet. Some heroes obvious, some unsung, their lives and health tempting fate, vulnerable in tasks for our civilization, few glories for their life's profession. The servicemen in our armed forces, the cause be sure for freedom's sake, for their family, strangers, citizens all, few medals show their life's duress. The policeman whose life is in peril by high-speed chase, gunfight ensued, the simple traffic stop that may kill, few medals show the dangers faced. The man who is trained as a firefighter to save our lives, our homes from fire, the first on scene when aid is in need, few medals show each hazardous deed. The good, merciful Lord is always with and our side. Where God is, we are, and we are, God is always. He's always with us. He's there with us, He guides us, and He protects us. In closing, please let us all join in the Lord's Prayer. And by tradition, the veterans of Central Oregon at the end will all say, God bless America. Will you please join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. And all together, God bless America!
Thank you, Jess. The Bend Fire Department's pipes and drums will now play Amazing Grace and whatever else they'd like to play. But before they do that, I'd like to personally salute all of the uniformed first responders who protect us every day. They put the uniform on just like we veterans do. Sometimes we, the veterans, know who the enemy is. They hardly ever know who the enemy is. So I salute you all on behalf of all the veterans here assembled. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the end of the ceremony, but I think you might want to come look at the flag. And I was just taken by how beautiful the sun is on these roses. This rose here is called a Veterans Honor Rose. It was made especially, hybridized especially for veterans memorials and cemeteries. When it was dedicated by Jackson and Perkins about 10 years ago, Mr. Maxwell was the guest of honor in Portland when that was unveiled, you might say. But please take a look at that, and if you'd like to look at the names. And then we're going to move this flag over to another frame area so the names of Bend's veterans who lost their lives from World War I to Iraq can be displayed. So John Fry, would you help me do that after you folks get a chance to look at it? Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget, if you've got a flag, put it at half-staff for the rest of the day. And let's hold these 3,000 folks real close in our hearts, plus all the veterans who lost their lives since 9/11, and it's almost the same number. Thank you.
Harry Holler. Ready, hut. Right, pace. Forward, hut.
Thank you all.
Thank you. See you again. Have a great vacation. Thanks, Dick. Good job. Good job.